I'll be honest with you. Why does it even let us type the N-word? That's fucked up. I just typed it right now. I typed in my phone.
Yeah, but the regs.
They don't even let you say fuck. Doesn't it switch it to duck?
No, you can say.
You should switch the N-word to that.
You could.
It should switch to diggers. They're out here digging.
But doesn't the
What
are
we digging?
If you go switch the word fuck to duck, why can't you switch the N-word to diggers?
No. You shouldn't even do that. We had this conversation. Yeah. White people shouldn't say anything that has igger in it.
What about
yes,
Arnold
Schwartz? You're right, we did.
What about Arnold Schwartz?
That's
not igger.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwartz?
That's not igger. No, nager, not igger.
Even that sounds crazy. I don't even like. You know what? I don't like saying that word where like you're bothering people. That you know what that is.
That's retarded.
Yeah, you're nagging someone. If you're nagging someone, you are a.
Oh, a nagger.
I would not even say that.
Well, that's
too close.
Can you dig it?
What's up, Diggas? We got a special one for you today. I was featured on the Brilliant Idiots podcast. You've probably heard of me talk about the Brilliant Idiots before. This is Charlemagne Tha God and Andrew Schulz. And as we all know, I have been referring to you all as diggers because, well, the history of the term digger in Australia is actually of a military background, and it refers to soldiers. So in the military in Australia, you actually call each other diggers, but it actually did permeate into the world, into the Australian world after World War One, I believe, because they were digging trenches and that sort of thing. Apparently pre World War One, the term digger was widely used to mean a miner, and basically it has egalitarian connotations from the Victorian Eureka Stockade Rebellion. And it is linked to the concept of egalitarian mateship, and this is true because it connected the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, so the Anzacs, and from everything that I'm aware of, it also included way back well before the changes to the laws and that sort of thing, the inclusion of the Indigenous soldiers and that sort of thing. So it included everything. So it was egalitarian. Also the Māori soldiers as well, from what I understand. So it had a link to the hang on, if we go down here, the link to the Anzac legend, and it was Australia and New Zealand. Relatively new, so the word digger became linked with the concept of the Anzac legend, and endurance, courage, ingenuity, good humour, and mateship, and this is apparently I didn't know this, the equivalent slang, so the British tended to call the New Zealanders Kiwis. Yeah, okay, cool. But ultimately, to have Charlemagne Tha God say white people can't say anything that ends with igger because it's going to get you beat up, well, guess what? Fucking come and try me, because the idea is it's egalitarian, it's all equal playing ground, playing field. The term digger has egalitarian connotations, doesn't have anything to do, and actually has the absolute opposite effect. Other than so the opposite effect of a white person saying the N-word to a black person, for example. but it would have a similar connotation that a black person saying the N-word to a black person, in the sense that you're my N-word. So, in a like a bro connotation, like you're my brother, that kind of thing. So having Digga said like that actually has a similar connotation that does, but it is not race connected. And this was actually, interestingly enough, something that I got myself into a little bit of trouble at. Little story time here, a little bit of trouble years ago at a Busta Rhymes concert, where Busta Rhymes never actually showed up due to being stopped at the airport. But during this concert, I got particularly drunk, and on the bus home, I used to wear an Akubra around, so I used to wear hip-hop gear and an Akubra. If you want to know what an Akubra looks like, let's have a quick look. Akubra. Yeah, so it's these type of hats. I think it was, so basically you could sort of consider it like your Crocodile Dundee, that sort of thing. But I used to wear it in collaboration with hip hop gear. So fucking Sean John pants, hip hop wear, basically for the early 2000s. This is anyway. So I'm at the Busta Rhymes concert. He doesn't show up. They kept on trying to delay the concert. Anyway, about 1 o'clock, everyone sort of realizes it's not going on, including the organizers, and so they fuck everyone off. And there was a whole heap of fights out the front and blah blah blah. This is part of the course, especially when you're supplying alcohol to everyone. As I said, I got really drunk. I didn't fight, but I could have got into numerous ones. Anyway, I was on I jumped on the bus on the way home, and there I am, a Kubra on, chatting to a bunch of Koori women, or young Koori women, getting along like a house on fire. Koori is a nation of Indigenous or Aboriginal people that's primarily in sort of New South Wales. I don't know too much about the history, but yeah, primarily in New South Wales, and we were having this good old chat, and I get this bump in my back, and this guy says, basically, sorry man. I'm like, no worries, Digga. And I turned around and I said it so clearly, like Digga. I said the D, guaranteed. And I turn around, and this guy is a black fella, and he's starts going off at me. Don't call me that, man. I'll never forget. Don't call me that, man. Don't call me that. 400 years, man. 400 years. And I was like, bro, I called you a Digga. Like, I recognize it has a similar sound, but it's 100%. It has an well, I didn't say egalitarian. I said it's got a good connotation, and the beauty of it was my newly found Koori brethren, who are also, as you can imagine, very black. They turned around and backed me up and said, no, this is a term of endearment in Australia. You're taking it the wrong way. It genuinely is a term of endearment. And he said Digga. And so anyway, this guy kept on going off, tried to get the bus involved, but most people were like, man, he said Digga. He's Australian as fuck. You can tell he's wearing an Australian icon hat. Blah blah blah. Anyway, got off the bus, and I overhear him talking to this large group of his friends about the white guy that had just called him the N-word. So I burst in. I'm like, that's absolute fucking bullshit. Anyway, I got pulled aside because I was clearly passionate that I was not being a racist. I was actually being inclusive, whatever the case may be. And I explained to this guy. I said, no, it comes from the World War One, digging the trenches, which is what at the time I thought it was. I wasn't aware of the fact that it was even further back, that there was Digga. I thought it was from World War One, where they dug the trenches, and so they were termed the Diggers. But I knew it came from the Anzac history, so it was quite interesting to me to actually have this conversation with this guy from a completely different culture, where words were, they were painful, and I totally get it. I totally get it. Not on the level of, understanding the pain that the N-word would have caused him, but I totally get that, there was a mix-up, and I had no intention of making that mix-up. It was just how I spoke at the time. And as you can clearly tell by this channel, it's how I have spoken all the time. So to hear someone I look up to, Charlemagne Tha God, and Andrew Schulz discussing the term digger, at first I thought I would be a great soundbite, but I just wanted to explain, just in case I did have any non-Australian subscribers, that it is a term of endearment. It is not racial, and in fact it is inclusive of all races. So anyway, I'm Sam Battlefields. If you wanted to know more about my slang and terminology, hit me up in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Much love. Peace.